Hello and welcome back to the Mars You Show. There's so much that can be said about the person in today's video. She has a fascinating story both on and off YouTube, and for that reason it can be difficult to know where to start. So we're skipping past the first 8 years of content and controversies, for this video at least. In regards to the controversies and such, there's conflicting stories from both sides, so it's unknown how everything actually went down. But we're skipping 2010 to 2018, and we're jumping straight into the Venus Angelic of 2019. And not the virtual YouTuber phase either, but more specifically, the Return of Venus Angelic. But who is Venus? Venus Angelic is a 22-year-old Swiss-born Japanese YouTuber with 1.7 million subscribers, who garnered attention for her living doll look and even featured on an episode of My Strange Addiction in 2014.
My name is Venus. I was born in Switzerland. Now I live in London. I am 16 years old and I am a living doll.
Much of her earlier content is based around how she looks, and her two most viewed videos are her giving tutorials on how to have her look. Other important parts of the story are her mother and her boyfriend, but that's something I either won't ever go into or will be for another video. If you're really curious, I'm sure there's videos about it. But 2019 has been different. It hasn't been the Venus of previous years. It's been the real Venus, and there's a difference. The year started with the video Venus Angelic's Personas. In this video, she goes through and essentially reviews old videos of herself and explains to some degree what was happening. She seems very self-aware and states that she was trying to make what she thought others wanted to see and not what she herself enjoyed.
So I don't think I'm gonna continue being a makeup guru because it's not my passion, and I don't want to be a makeup artist. I mean, I like makeup like girls, and you know, I'm finally able to kind of do okay eyebrows now, as you can see, but I kind of just like force myself to make videos that I think other people would enjoy instead of making videos that me and other people also enjoy, because you know, if you don't enjoy yourself, other people are not going to enjoy yourself too. Does this make sense?
She also talks about her eating issues, which last year nearly took her life after stitches collapsed post-operation.
This is a normal pudding, and this is today's challenge.
3K for hard times. I'm glad, I'm really thankful that I can now, I'm like able to eat normal portions and feel full. Because I had to just have a stomach condition that like made me able to eat a lot of food, but I also never like felt full. I know when I took this video I wasn't very happy. No, I was really stressed. The whole everything stressed me out about not being able to feel full. It's not that cool. I mean, it looks cool on camera, but it doesn't feel good.
The description reads, persona is different from personality as it is fabricated consciously or unconsciously, so the way you want others to perceive you. When I changed my looks and the way of talking for YouTube, I wasn't aware that I was creating personas, but it did feel a bit like acting. I feel like I needed to do that, or else I would have to start explaining that I feel empty and dead, and being honest like that. And actually putting in words is hard as fuck. I felt pretty bad, and I didn't know I had depression and anxiety because I grew up believing that depression means being negative and anxiety is when you run around screaming. When I felt the symptoms, I thought it was my fault and need to get my shit together. Then I got to a point where just getting my shit together didn't work, and I got therapy and medications, and between spurts of self-harm and crying, I'm slowly finding myself in the darkness. It may seem a bit strange that I read that, but I feel like it's just as important as the video, because it tells more of the story and more of the real Venus, and the start of the Return of Venus Angelic. Although, truth be told, she did make a video entitled No More Being Fake around a year and a half ago.
I basically grew up on YouTube, and that all the time I've kind of pretended to be happy. Like I just like someone who's never sad and super confident, but from now on I'm not going to pretend to be happy all the time or extremely super confident, because that's not realistic.
But after this came another escape, it seemed, Malice, who was Venus but in virtual YouTuber form. It was a strange phase but still important in the Return of Venus Angelic. Despite seeming to be self-aware in the previous video, Venus still didn't want to be herself on her YouTube channel, and this is seemingly how or why Malice was born. Likely inspired by Kazuna AI. Malice.exe, also known as Malice Jabberwocky or simply Malice, was short-lived, with records showing 3 videos made under the Malice name, with only one still on the channel, being a Q&A. The 2 others were Living Doll to Virtual Girl and Anime Girls Will Be the Death of YouTube. The Twitter associated with it hasn't been active since April, so whether it's still a thing is up for debate, as it seems it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago that the videos were taken down, although this isn't confirmable. On the 5th of August, over 150k worth of views were taken from the channel, most likely due to videos being taken down. Malice took place from March to April of this year, and then 4 months later, the true Return of Venus Angelic started. With 2019 bringing 1 video in January, the bizarre 3-video era of Malice, it was time for the real return of Venus Angelic. August 4 saw the release of her comeback video. She explains that she needed more personal time.
So where have I been? To put it simply, I needed time to take care of myself, because I used to be like in the spotlight most of my entire teenage life. I used to make a video every week. Everything I said was commented on and criticized.
She also explains why she's coming back, and her new love for Japan.
The reason why I am making this comeback right now is because I feel ready for it. So when I was taking a break, I went outside more to discover Japan and start to really educate myself more about the culture, the country I live in. And like, there's so many fun things to learn about Japanese culture that I thought that, I just really have this urge to share it with someone. So I hope you don't mind if I do.
Unlike the previous times this year, this wasn't a single video or a 3-video era. In the next video, entitled Venus Angelic Meets Kamen Rider, she talks about how she's going to give acting a shot. At the end of the video, she shows what seems to be a table read.
美ナスが本名で中学生1年生から YouTube 本業としてやってます。でも今回は初めて舞台に挑戦。
It was followed up with some more real-life videos, and then she started live streaming. Firstly with the editing stream. Interestingly enough, she talks about the era of malice about 12 minutes into the stream. Here's a clip of that.
Is this a Malice X Angel? Malice X is fucking dead. I'm sorry, I was very deep depression when I decided to do this virtual YouTuber thing, and I feel confident to say that my thinking was impaired. Like seriously, what the fuck?
The video she edited was uploaded entitled I Am a Japanese Living Doll, and although this could be seen as her going back to her days of makeup tutorials, it is her showing the makeup process for the character she is playing in the stage show she's performing in, where she plays a doll. She states in the description of the video that, since my character is a doll, I dug up my past self from the graveyard to create this video. In the second live stream, she plays Minecraft for about an hour, and then goes on to set up a Discord server. There was another stream that wasn't made public afterwards that featured her doing the voices of her personas, which I personally found interesting. There's also likely other bits and pieces in those live streams that may explain more about how things are in her life, but this was meant to be brief, but still with hopes of getting the same information across that a 20-odd minute video would, for example. Venus Angelic is on the way back. She's seemingly more comfortable with being herself in videos and is streaming now too. Whether or not this remains an era or a full-time thing remains to be seen, but I wish her well as she continues to experiment with content and finding happiness outside of making videos, whether it be acting, exploring, or otherwise. After the trouble she's had, it's nice to see that she's making positive steps, and hopefully this is the start of the return of Venus Angelic. And also, don't forget, if you are new here, subscribe. If you do enjoy the video, leave a like. It's much appreciated. It helps with the recommended section, as far as I know. I've made videos kind of similar to this. I made a video about Leah Marie Johnson, if you want to watch that. I also made a video about Boy Brooks and his internet presence and how he's posting troubling things and why I think he needs our help.